Good evening, and thank you for joining us. 2 children were sent to hospital with serious injuries over the weekend after a hit and run by an alleged impaired driver in a Northwood parking lot.
It happened around 6 o'clock Saturday evening. The suspect is now behind bars. The victims were 8 and 10 years old and were taken to hospital by ambulance. City police say the children were struck by a vehicle which also hit a parked car and the Subway restaurant at Northwood Park Mall before fleeing the scene. Inspector Ryan Gibson says the children's injuries could have been a lot worse if it wasn't for the quick reaction of their grandfather, who was with them.
Children, quite young, they were transported, they were seen to by Thunder Bay Fire Service and EMS, taken to Thunder Bay Regional Health Sciences Center where they were treated for their injuries. Fortunately, it looks like they're going to be okay. They were very fortunate. The offending vehicle actually jumped the sidewalk, struck a building, and at the same time hit the children. Fortunately, their grandfather's with them. He managed to pull them out of the way. And, I would say the children are very fortunate.
The driver was located and arrested by city police soon after the incident. 25-year-old Dawson Duncan is charged with 2 counts of dangerous driving causing bodily harm, 2 counts of impaired driving causing bodily harm, along with failing to stop at the scene and failing to comply with a release order. Duncan remains in custody at the district jail.
Funding restraints are forcing Wekwudong Lodge to make some difficult layoffs, leaving future supports for many clients up in the air.
The nonprofit on Balmoral Street helps people from remote communities who are here to access health care. Wekwudong officials admit the downsizing will limit how many people the lodge can now support. Vasilios Bellos reports.
It's a heartbreaking decision for a local nonprofit.
I finally gave in and said, we have to downsize.
Wekwudong Lodge, which provides accommodations to people from Northern First Nations while they access healthcare in the city, has been forced to downsize due to what it calls funding restraints. The organization has already cut a total of 8 administrative roles, with 22 of its 51 full-time frontline staff expected to be laid off as well. Executive Director Donna Crookmo says they were left with no choice without a written funding commitment from the federal government.
It's supposed to help us, but again, every meeting we've had delivers the same results. In terms of no capital dollars, we have to get a handle on how many clients you're actually serving before we can tell you how much we're going to be giving you so that you can budget. So it just became a circular talk, and we really got nowhere.
Officials at Indigenous Services Canada didn't reply to our request for comment. The lodge was previously able to support 350 people each day, but will limit that number to 155, which will prevent the nonprofit from operating in a deficit. While Wekwudong was previously able to alleviate capacity issues by connecting clients to available hotel rooms, those individuals will now need to call Indigenous Services directly for support. And there's a consensus amongst employees about how these layoffs will affect the nonprofit.
A good word is sad, not just for myself, of course, but for my superiors over here. And for the clients. This is going to be really hard for the clients. They depend on us.
Staff and clients at Wekwudong Lodge were hopeful that a potential $45 million facility expansion would help alleviate some stress. But with the lack of money currently coming into the lodge, the hopes that that project will ever be funded have been diminished. Vasilios Bellos, TBT News.
St. Patrick High School students were forced to go home early again today following another threat made against the school. This marks the 2nd time St. Pat's has been evacuated and the 3rd time it's been closed in the past 2 weeks. The latest threat came in this morning and the school contacted the Thunder Bay Police immediately. As a precaution, the school went into a hold and secure before staff and students were dismissed around 12:30. The first threat against St. Pat's came on November 27th, and all classes were canceled the next day while police searched the school. The second came last Thursday morning, causing the school to be evacuated. Catholic board officials have declined our request for an interview, but students and parents say they're concerned about the repeated threats made against the school.
I don't know who has this much time on their hands to be doing this type of stuff.
Yeah, it just affects everyone, teachers, students, so unfortunate to see it happening, but can't do much until the problem's solved, really.
till they find the person.
It's a little hard, right? I've been called a couple of times already to pick up my child, and it does put an inconvenience on us as parents. But again, ultimately, anything for our children to ensure that they're safe.
Police officers remained at the school after the students were sent home, and St. Pat's will reopen tomorrow. Anyone with information is asked to contact City Police or Crime Stoppers.
About 550 workers for the City of Thunder Bay could go on strike in the new year after members of CUPE Local 87 gave their bargaining committee a nearly unanimous strike mandate. The CUPE members voted 98% in favor of a walkout if it proves necessary to get a satisfactory collective agreement with the city. The workers are employed in a wide variety of roles, including garbage collection, park maintenance, roads, sewers, waterworks, and winter snow plowing. Local 87 President Derek Fournier says the previous deal expired almost a year ago. The union has applied for a conciliator in hopes it can bring the two parties to agreement. He says that if that fails, they're prepared to set a strike deadline sometime in January.
What we're looking for is a fair wage. They gave themselves a substantial raise last year and increased their bands, and we just are looking for something that's going to help us through this hard time.
City Manager Norm Gale issued a brief statement saying, "The parties continue to work towards a negotiated settlement, and we still work together with the conciliator appointed by the Ministry of Labour."
Tonight, City Council will debate a controversial new parking financing plan, which could drastically change the system here in the city. One of the biggest changes would be how much residents pay for parking. Hourly metered rates would jump 50 cents to $2 an hour and then go up an additional 25 cents every other year. Under the new plan, drivers would also have to pay to park at the marina. While Council will discuss the plan tonight, a decision won't be made until early in the new year. Corporate Services General Manager Karen Lewis insists the plan will be beneficial in the long run.
I think there probably would be mixed reaction, but as I said, there is no such thing as free parking. As we move forward with asset management planning for the corporation, we need to look at all of our assets this way. They need to be sustainable, and particularly when they're meant to be rate supported. They need to, in that case, pay for themselves.
The city will launch a public survey on its Get Involved page soon to gauge public feedback on the new parking plan.
At Queen's Park, an investigation has been launched into money sent to parents to help their kids deal with learning loss during the pandemic.
Ontario's ombudsman has flagged concerns about fairness and transparency, with some parents being denied funding. Siobhan Morris has the details.
They were meant to help kids make up ground lost during those days of online pandemic learning.
This direct payment to parents will help families offset the rising costs of living so that moms and dads can best support their kids.
Payments of up to $200, $250 for students with special needs to help them catch up.
Very important.
Now the ombudsman wants to take a look. He's received about 200 complaints, raising concerns about a lack of fairness and transparency. Paul Dubé says he's heard what he calls disturbing accounts from parents who are not only denied funding for the children in their care, they were not told who did receive those payments.
Dubé lays out cases where there's a parent with sole custody, even a restraining order against the other parent, and they would find that that parent, who has nothing to do with their child's education or care, had claimed the money.
The Ombudsman's examination welcomed by the Ontario Secondary School Teachers Federation.
There's no proof of where it was spent, what it was spent on, and then when you have these kinds of issues, I'm not surprised, but I'm so disappointed.
The Education Minister's office is standing by the programs, a spokesperson writing in part, "While we fully welcome advice from the Ontario Ombudsman's Office, we are proud to have delivered direct payment programs to 2.2 million students and families across Ontario, providing needed financial support at a critical time." Stephen Lecce had left it to parents to decide if the cash was best used for tutoring.
They could buy technology. It could be a variety of tools and resources and textbooks, things that aid their child in getting back on track.
OSSTF estimates the programs add up to nearly $2 billion, cash they feel should have been invested to support kids in class, not at home.
This is not acceptable in a province like Ontario to be taking money out of the public education system and buying votes with it.
Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
With 2024 just around the corner, the Port of Thunder Bay is still expecting a busy month ahead following a season that's already broken a few records.
Mitchell Ringos caught up with Port CEO Chris Heikkinen and has the details on a very successful season.
With just 1 month left, the Port of Thunder Bay has had an excellent year, according to CEO Chris Heikkinen. He says the port has handled a new modern record of approximately 1.5 million tons of potash as of the end of November. And the port could also see modern records set for the numbers of salty traffic and Laker vessels. Now, even with record numbers, Heikkinen did say the St. Lawrence Seaway strike in October slowed down shipments.
Fortunately, the strike lasted just a week, and so the Seaway got their operations together very quickly once that was over with, and the shipping resumed quite quickly.
Heikkinen adds the global potash industry has changed quite a bit in the last couple of years, with the Russia-Ukraine conflict tightening supply, but says in Canada they are producing more potash every year.
We're the world's #1 potash producer, and our exports are growing. And so the port and the Seaway are doing our part to participate in that export of that commodity.
Heikkinen also noted there is an ongoing experiment to push back the lock closures by a week in mid-January, which will give officials an idea as to how much can be gained from the extra week on the tail end of the shipping season.
The Seaway shipping season has gradually grown larger almost on an annual basis if you look over it over about a 60-year period. So there's certainly opportunity to continue to extend that season should the weather continue to play in our favor.
Kiefer Terminal has also had an excellent year with record volumes of steel pipe and rail products, along with record imports of phosphate fertilizer, which Heikkinen says will be a focus point to continue improving on next season. Mitchell Ringos, TBT News.
Delico Family Care is celebrating another successful Christmas wish campaign. Hundreds of red bags have been stuffed with donated toys and other items for children in need. Accompanied by staff members and sponsors, Delico announced 800 of its red bags have been filled and are ready to go out for the holiday season. The bags are customized specifically for each child with a special tag attached to each wish bag that shares details like their age, interests, and Christmas wishes. Now that it's the 15th year, the campaign has gifted over 9,000 wish bags to children.
It's been so emotional, actually. Like, every volunteer that's come here has been so happy to see all of the amazing things in the bags. Like, especially, there's like a lot of excitement. We'll like share a bag. We'll say, oh, this little girl's gonna get exactly what she wants. And it's just been good energy this week.
Delico Elves will help deliver wish bags to children across the Thunder Bay District, including 13 First Nation communities.
The Port Arthur Curling Center is trying to get more children involved in the sport by hosting an event yesterday called Learn to Curl with Santa. Kids got the chance to meet Santa Claus and have breakfast before heading onto the ice to learn some curling basics. 89 kids got the chance to try their hand throwing and sweeping. Proceeds go toward Curling Center building maintenance. Co-organizer Romalyn Naidu says in addition to raising money, the event also helps bring families together through the sport.
The vibrance in this room, tells its own story, and the vibe on the ice tells you a story also. If you take a look around, and you can actually feel it. It's just more...
It's excitement's in the air.
It's excitement,
Yeah.
It's more homely. I think this is what parents wanted.
Information about future events can be found on the PA Curling Center's Facebook page and website.
The Sounds of Superior Chorus is bringing some holiday classics to life.
The group has been rehearsing for weeks and just recently recorded songs for a video that will be unveiled at an online concert next weekend. Mitchell Ringos has the story.
And the sky was bright with a holy light o'er the place where Jesus lay.
Sounds of Superior Chorus is an innovative group of women who have been bringing every era and genre of music to life in a barbershop style for the past 50 years. But right now, they're focusing on the holidays, as they will be taking part in the second annual Jingle and Mingle concert, which Vice President Lana Bullough says you don't want to miss, as it features many amazing choruses and quartets.
We call it Region 6, and with the Sounds of Superior Sweet Adelines, we sing with about 10 other choruses, and we each get a chance for our videos to be seen, and so it's like a virtual concert.
The group has been practicing once a week for 4 weeks, with not just past singers taking part, but also anyone who just wanted to come out and sing. The group recently finished recording their songs for the concert, as they will be singing the Christmas song and Birthday of a King. Artistic director Jason Scriver said even though it was a challenge bringing everyone together in just a few short weeks, it was extremely rewarding.
The chorus has been really good. Everyone's really welcoming, and I think it's been a good time for everyone. The bonus is that we know the songs already, so we just bring in some new people and try to have some fun.
And even though there will be many other groups taking part, Scriver said there is one thing that sets them apart.
We realize that we're the most northern chorus, which means we're closest to Santa and the North Pole. So that's what makes us cool, and that's what will carry us forward.
The full concert will be held online December 17th, completely free on region6.org, but you can also find more information on the Sounds of Superior website. Below also said they sing at Superior Collegiate every Monday at 7 p.m. and encourages the community to give it a try.
We all are sisters here. We all have love and support for each other, and this, of course, just gels it and brings all that support together.
Following the concert, the group will set their sights on competition, as they will be competing in the 2024 Region 6 Convention in Rochester, Minnesota in early May. And after a great showing last convention, they're hoping to take home first place all round. Mitchell Ringos, TBT News.
Yeah, being the northernmost club does make them very cool, but Fiona, it hasn't really made us very cold lately. I mean, we've pretty consistently been above seasonal temperatures.
And we are continuing the trend today. We did stay below freezing. We had an early morning low of -6, wind chills of -11, warmed up to -2. Normally for this time of year, we should see a high of -6, not the low. So we've still got a ways to go before we hit seasonal levels. And if you looked outside, we've got a ways to go before it looks like a winter wonderland. Today we had winds out of southwest 11 to 20 kilometers per hour to the west. Fort Frances currently at -3. It was very overcast for much of the day. Starting to see a little bit of the cloud break up. We're at -6 in Atikokan, Upsala, Dryden, -5 in Kenora and into Red Lake. Now up toward Red Lake and this surrounding area, they've been dealing with snow and blowing snow all day today. Temperature is held fairly steady between about -7 and -6 all day. It's just been in the last hour. They've warmed up to -5. They're currently dealing with wind chills of about -13 because of some of the gustiness. As we head eastward, you can see this temperature is very consistent, -6 in Sioux Lookout, -5 in Armstrong and Greenstone. They did have periods of snow throughout this region off and on today. Currently cloudy skies, and they're at their high for the day. Wind chills are around -11 along the North Shore. We're back to a little closer to the freezing mark. And Sault Ste. Marie had light snow all last night and most of today. It was about mid-afternoon that it finally tapered off. They're currently at -2 and wind chills of -8. Here in the city of Thunder Bay, we will drop down to -7, so we're still above normal, and wind chills of -14 because we could see a few flurries, but not a lot of accumulation. What you're going to notice is the wind picking up to 50 kilometers per hour overnight, and those windy conditions, those are going to continue to push through northwestern Ontario and head to Thunder Bay for tomorrow. But as you can see, no real precipitation once those flurries move out. And I'll have more details on what will happen to your daytime temperatures after that later on in the news hour.
Okay, thanks a lot, Fiona. Well, it was a key stipulation in the NDP's agreement with the minority Liberals not to trigger an early election, and today the government has finally unveiled details of its new dental care plan. We'll have those for you and more after the break.
We're excited about having that ability to see more people, see kids earlier in their lives rather than just for emergencies.